Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make a shell garage / petrol station / gas station / station where you can fill up any vehicle of your choice using your fuel of choice station. And not only will I show you how to make everything on the outside of the build, but I'll even show you how to make the garage that accompanies this gas station and all of the cool stuff that you would find inside of it. If you enjoy this tutorial, please do remember to hit that like button, as it really helps me and the channel out very, very much. And if you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button, as that'll ensure that you get all my videos sent directly to your sub box. But without any further ado, let's get started. Now, just before we get this thing started, everybody, here are all of the materials that we will need to make our garage. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. The amount of space required to make the garage is a reasonable 43 by 29 block area, as represented by this white concrete grid on the ground, which you are more than welcome to make in your world, and I would recommend it if you are planning out a city. It will just help loads and loads and loads, and it will stop you building on top of other stuff. And that's it. Pause the video if you have to. Make sure you've got all that stuff. Make sure you've got enough room to make it. Make sure you're ready. And once you are, we can begin. Step 1, my garage building friends. Come all the way over to the back right hand corner of your grid, if you've made it. I know that this is a little bit weird because we usually start all the way over there on the front, but this time we want to be on the back right hand corner and we want to count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're then going to count left 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and we're going to stick a red concrete here in this position. The red concrete then wants to get extended forwards by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we are going to go left by 2. 1, 2. So what's important about this position is we then want to take this second block and we want to move towards the front of the build, and we want to find the 11th block moving outwards from this block. Meaning, so from this red concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Right here. We want to place 7 block of quartz on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we also want to, from the bottom of this block, moving across the build now, so the side of the build, we want to count and find the 13th block from this bottom block of quartz. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. And we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we go. So those are the foundations for the top of our, I suppose it's called a canopy, is what it technically is called, I do believe. Might be wrong about that, as I am wrong about many things, but what we then want to do with the 2 rows of quartz is we'll take this first row that we ever placed. We want to extend it in 2 directions, actually 3 directions, using our quartz slab. We want to extend it forwards, backwards, and out the side, and we're going to do that by using 6 quartz slabs in all of those directions. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and also out the back as well. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we also want to do a similar thing over here as well. With this row, we want to extend it out the side and then left and right as we are looking at it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And also out the back too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now, I know that this looks weird, but what we can then do is fill in between all of these rows in using block of, well, not block of quartz, quartz slab actually. We want to fill it all in using quartz slab. Now, this will give us the entire shape of our canopy. Not Caterpie, easily confused with the cute bug Pokemon from Generation 1 upwards. No, we're talking about the canopy. And we want to join it all the way over to the opposite side as well. And in joining it to the opposite side, in filling in between all of these rows, that will be the entire shape of the canopy complete. It just needs some added details afterwards. I have opted to fill the entire bottom of this thing in using quartz slabs. However, later on, and I'm not 100% sure where I sit on this myself, that's why I'm giving you guys the option, that's why I've not just done it. You may, and I do say may, want to add some sea lanterns into the base of the canopy, and that'll actually provide a nice little bit of light. Otherwise you'll notice that it does cast a pretty decent shadow, especially if you're using shaders. I imagine that the shadow would be 5 o'clock or upwards. So we want to basically just get all of this filled in, and then later on we can decide whether we want to add anything else to it or not. Really is up to you, it's personal preference. So there we go, we've got a nice little foundation filled in there. Got to make sure that, boop, did I see something over there too? It's very easy to add an extra quartz slab where they shouldn't be. There we are, perfect. So from the front right hand corner of the canopy here, I keep wanting to say canopy. From the front right hand corner of the canopy, we're going to place two red concretes extending left from this corner. We're then going to place 5 yellow concretes extending across, and then we're going to make the entire rest of the outside, just the outside, that's all we have to do, of the canopy red concrete, just like so. So just going all the way around like this. We don't have to fill the entire thing in, although you could if you were feeling, I don't know, a little bit crazy really. And then once you have done that, we want to add an entire layer of yellow concrete across the top. Now this is where we are going to make an entire layer. It's basically just going to mirror the quartz slabs that we have just below us. It will make a really nice effect. Basically, it's just the top of the canopy. The canopy will then be pretty much complete. We just have to write shell on it, although we will be doing that a little bit later, just because you guys, I don't know whether you guys know, I don't like banners very much. Banners are so useful, they enhance so many builds in so many different ways, in ways that you couldn't do with other blocks. However, oh, they're annoying to make. I wish that there were letter banner patterns. Maybe that'll come in the future. That'd be really, really helpful. But anyways, we've almost filled the top of this in, and hiya! What will that give us? Nice. So there we go, that is the top of the canopy. Whilst we are doing large filling in projects, I feel as though that we should also tackle the actual garage. So this is where you would pay for your petrol, your fuel, perhaps some chocolate that's overpriced, and maybe even some coffee. So I want you to take the very first red concrete block that we ever placed and extend it across the build. I do believe that the amount is 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. There we go. Perfect. We're then going to take that 17th block, extend it forwards, and then we're going to extend it across to pretty much make a nice rectangular shape. The significance of that rectangular shape is that we can now add some windows to it, which is fairly easy to do. Starting from the right hand side here, I want you to place this sequence of blocks. 2 white concrete, 2 glass pane. We're using light blue, but you can use whatever. 2 white concrete, 2 glass pane, 2 white concrete, 2 glass pane. And then we're actually going to have 2 white concrete, and then we're going to destroy the 2 red concrete blocks below. And then we're going to basically double up on all of the white concretes and all of the glass pane. Now later on you might decide that you want more windows and such around the build, around the garage, but we can do that later. So all you're going to want to do from here is add, we're just going to add free, it actually wants to be 3 rows, so that is what we're going to do. Or do we want to have just like a solid yellow roof? We'll probably do the solid yellow roof. Okay, so we just want to add 2 rows of white everywhere. That'll basically take us up to the top of the windows, just like this. Okay, and then we're just going to place yellow concrete all the way on top of this. The doorway will have to have a little bit of tempering. Whether we want to add some glass to it or whether we're quite happy just leaving it white concrete, that might be the case. There we go, we add the yellow, and then we're going to add yellow all the way around the top as well, just like this. Whoop. And this will basically just be the roof of the garage, like that. Yeah, maybe we'll grab some glass block later on to make that look a little bit better, or not, I don't know, we'll see. You can fill the roof in using yellow concrete if you like, because we are going to be sufficiently lighting it. The garage won't actually require any outside light at all. Outside light meaning like any natural light. It won't require any of that. You'll be able to go inside the garage and see absolutely everything at any time during the day, luckily. So all the top can just be filled in here using a little bit of yellow concrete. Nice. And in doing that, you can see that we've actually got like a pretty decent foundation here, haven't we? There is a little something else that we could do as well whilst we're in the mood. So, quite often at petrol stations, gas stations, fuel stations, whatever you want to call these things, you will have signs that will tell you the price of things. Now, we're going to make one of those, and basically the positioning for it is it wants to kind of stick out of the front left-hand corner. You kind of want to have a yellow concrete hanging off, and you want to extend 1, 2, 3 towards the front of the build. We're then going to place a red concrete underneath the left. Oh no, my bad. We're going to place an entire row of yellow underneath, red concrete underneath the left and right sides, yellow concrete in between. We're then going to want to grab our old pal, the light grey concrete. You guys remember the light grey concrete from the old days. We're going to place a row underneath it, and then we're going to extend the left and right hand sides down. We'll join it together at the bottom, so I'll cut out the middleman there, and then we're going to grab the white concrete again, and we're just going to fill the middle of this in. In an ideal world, you would place signs and perhaps some item frames with different fuels in. Or maybe you could use the item frames and you could have like diamonds and show the cost of different things. But like you'd have a sign like petrol, such and such, diesel, such and such. And then if you wanted to buy fuel, blah, 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 you could make it a little bit taller if you want and add more stuff. But I just thought that it kind of added to the overall aesthetic of the build. And I think I'm right. So I do quite like it. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to make part of the pumps. So the way that one gets fuel in the car is from pumps around the station. There's going to be a pump either side of the bottom of these quartz rows. So we're going to place a red concrete in front of the bottom of the rows of quartz like this. I wish that my plans were a little bit clearer. Just so, there we go. A red concrete either side. We're going to place yellow concrete either side of the red concrete. We're going to place any block on top of the red concrete. It's going to be covered up, it doesn't matter. We're going to place white concrete left and right of the whatever block you want to use. And then we're going to place quartz slabs on top of the white concrete / the middle block. On the left side, on both sides, we're going to place buttons on the lefts of the middle part. This is the screen, by the way. That's why it doesn't matter what color it is. This is going to be the screen, and basically the screen is just going to be a single painting, just because I think that it looks quite cool. Quite often these things are like sort of like touch screen now, so it just makes sense to use a painting or an item frame and something else. So yeah, that's kind of what we're going for. I just like the look of it, and we want the same thing on the opposite side as well. So on this opposite side, you guys might remember it's red concrete at the base on the left and right, any block on top of the red, yellow concretes next to the red concretes on both sides. We want white concretes on top of the yellow. We then want quartz slabs on top of the white concrete and the quartz block as well that we have in the middle. We place ourselves some buttons on the left sides just to keep it a bit different. And then we want to just have a painting in the middle. Preferably, we don't want to repeat. Again, if you want to be a little bit more realistic, and it doesn't matter if you do. I just like the look of the painting better. If you want to be a bit more realistic, item frame with a glass in it will look better, or will look more realistic, I should say, but that's kind of up to you. What we also want to have hanging off these, quite often the pumps will have numbers, so that when you go into the station, you'll be like, I was at pump number 1 or 2 or 3 or 75, whatever, and these will be displayed above these areas here. So we're going to leave one whole block away from the tops of the pump, so it's going to be like here. So basically kind of like in between the top of the pumps and in between the top of the canopy. We're going to have 2 yellow concretes poking out here, just like this side, and then we're going to have red carpet on top. And if we had signs, we would say this is pump number 1, pump number 2, 3, and then of course 9,000. So that is what we would have, but we don't have that on us. But you can if you like. I might even add it at the end, and I might also do what I mentioned with the sign. But very small details those are. So let's chuck all those in. What do we want to do next? Let me think about this. So the pumps need to be modified a little bit more. We're going to use stone brick wall, end rods, cauldrons, trapdoors, item frames, paper. We're also going to need a little bit of smooth stone. We have already used our red carpet, so we might just leave it. No, we'll add some walls. Okay, and that'll also require the oak leaves too. So, around the base of the pumps, we're going to do this first. We are going to simply have just one row of smooth stone around the base of the pumps like this. That's all we're going to do. So this is basically just so that you can walk around on it and you don't want to get run over, pretty much. It's like just a nice safe haven, so whilst you're pumping your fuel, nobody's going to run you over, hopefully. So that's pretty much what this is for, just not a nice little bit of safe ground to stand on. There we go. In between the pumps, there's two sides to them. We want to place cauldrons, oak trapdoors on top of them, and then a little gap because you can't place it directly on top. And then if you want, you can have like an item frame and paper, and that's basically just for rubbish. Quite oftentimes for the fuel pumps, or you could have just like, you wouldn't even need the item frame. It's kind of up to you however you want to do it, but quite oftentimes you'll have little bins next to the pumps, and sometimes like disposable gloves and stuff, and sometimes actual literal like paper, just in case you spill or something like that, which is possible. And I have managed to ruin a pair of trainers that way, unfortunately, with a load of diesel that was on them. I really liked them. They were Adidas. I kind of miss them a little bit, but now they smell like my car. So now that we have the fuel pumps pretty much almost done, all we have to do is just put an actual physical like what the pump would look like, and maybe it would look a little bit better with tripwire hooks, but I actually like the aesthetic of like a wall with an end rod on top, and that also serves the function as well of them being adding a little bit of a light source, because I am starting to think that we might not need a light source. The end rods actually do a pretty decent job, even if we turned it to day, which would be possible, or turned it to, actually, I don't think that we can. No, okay, never mind. It's always daylight, but later on maybe we'll have a look at it in the dark and we'll see whether we need to add sea lanterns or not. What we do need to add, though, is a wall. So the wall is going to be made out of terracotta, and it's going to start on the front right-hand corner of the build here, and it's going to go all the way around the grid. So it's basically going to start from the bottom front right hand corner of the grid, and it's going to end on the back right hand corner of the grid where we start this thing off. It's just going to be terracotta. It's going to be 2 rows of it because it just looks a little bit better, I think. 1 row almost seems laughable because you could just jump over it, so 2 rows of terracotta is what we're going with, like this, just for the wall all the way around like this. Yeah, that's looking good. I like that. It looks way better with the wall. We're going to add some oak leaves around the inside of the wall as well. This adds another colour, which will be a little bit more important later on when we add the grey concrete in here, because it will look a bit drab. So the leaves actually add a little bit. So the leaves are just going to be added around the inside of the border. You can take them all the way to the edge of the wall, or you can leave them 1 block away. I'm leaving them 1 block away. And I'm also going to add a row of leaves that starts from here. This is the end of the garage, and the leaves are going to come all the way, probably about here to where the end of the pump is, maybe even a little bit further. Usually you've got quite a bit of an area that you're actually allowed to drive into these things. They don't usually, they make it quite easy to drive into, so we might just leave it like that, just to where the ends of the pumps are. Later on, this will all be filled in with grey concrete. It will look way, way better. You know what, as well, whilst we do have the smooth stone on us, we're just going to add 2 rows of smooth stone just directly in the front of our garage, like this. And the 2 rows of smooth stone are, again, to prevent you from getting run down by a car, basically. So you can walk around safe and sound like this. So this is actually looking really good. I'm really happy with how this looks. I don't know why. I love the look of petrol stations. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Hey. Probably am. We're going to do the sign. Now, the sign requires us to grab the loom, we're going to place the yellow banners in the banner making position, which is not in the top left hand corner, but just to the right of it. And we're also going to need our red dye as well. We don't need any other dyes, fingers crossed. So we're going to chuck down the loom. If you don't have a loom, you'll need a crafting table and you'll have to do this manually. Not fun. So, going to crack open the loom and we're going to place a brand new banner in there. Our first letter is going to be S. So red dye's in there. Horizontal row of red across the top. Horizontal row of red along the bottom. And a diagonal row top left corner to bottom right corner gives us our S. Next is H. So vertical row of red on the right, vertical row of red on the left, horizontal row of red through the middle. Boom, we have our H. Now we have to make E. So E is quite easy. Horizontal row of red through the middle, horizontal row of red through the top, horizontal row of red through the bottom with a vertical stick of red on the left side, and that is E. So far we have she. We then want to place a brand new banner in here. That's going to be yellow. Vertical row of red up the left side. Horizontal row of red along the bottom. And that is L. Now we have, well, this is Shield. So not quite show, but I'm in creative mode, so I can just reuse banners. If you're not in creative mode, you're going to have to make another L. The shell sign is quite easy to do. It's where we have these rows of yellow concrete here. S-H-E-L-L. My bad, L, there we go. Perfect. Shell garage, all we have to do for the outside, which we will be doing later. Will we do it later, will we do it now? We might do it now, just so that it's... Do we fill in the... You know what, I might toss a coin. I do actually have a coin here. Okay, heads, we're going to fill it in now. Tails, we'll do it a little bit later. Tails, alright, we do it later. So, we're now going to move towards the garage. So we don't actually have everything we need to make the garage at all. We are lacking a few things, but we do have some stuff. So chiseled quartz block, iron door, weighted pressure plates. So the chiseled quartz block is what we are going to use for the interior of the garage. For some reason, garages seem to be one of the brightest buildings ever. Like, whenever you go inside, they rarely seem to be, like, quite dark and quite drab. It's pretty white everywhere. It's just, like, white and bright. So, that's what we're doing. We're just going to fill the entire floor in using some chiseled quartz block, just because that looks pretty good. And I like the texture of it. I'm using... Okay, guys, I realize I am using this for floors in a lot of builds. Get off my back. I really like it. I used to use like oak wood because that's also a warm material as well, but I just do like the texture of this. So the doors are going to be automatic in the way that they're going to be iron doors here, and I'm going to replace that with blocks. We'll do that now. This won't be in the item list because I only just decided to do it now, but yeah, above the doors, or maybe it will be, the light blue glass block, weighted pressure plates in front of the doors, weighted pressure plates behind the doors as well. Funny fact about the inside of the garage is that we need to add how many rows? Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We just need to add an extra row of red and white directly here, just in this corner, because then everything else will slot in. That will give us, ladies and gentlemen, a nice empty garage. Now, the garage doesn't require an insane amount of materials, actually, quite a few of them actually, but it does require enough of them that we need to grab some new stuff. But I am just realizing we can reuse... Where's our loom gone? We did have a loom. We did have a loom. This will be in the item list, ladies and gentlemen, so we can actually reuse some things. Okay, in this back right hand corner here, we want to move across one and place a loom. Specifically, the loom wants to be sideways. This is going to be part of a coffee machine. We're going to leave a gap of 1, and then we want to place a cauldron with an oak trapdoor above it. And then we're going to have, just kind of as a rubbish bin, we'll have kind of like the the item frame with the paper just in it above. Left of this, we are going to have, I guess we didn't have the material on us at all, but we're going to, okay, we'll grab ourselves the light grey concrete, and with our gap of 1, we'll just have a light grey concrete here. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to work our way over to this opposite side here, and with our red concrete, we're going to, in this corner of the build, so kind of like the front right-hand corner, we're going to place 2 red concretes, gap of 1, red concrete, extend forwards, oak trapdoor in front, red concrete in front of that, extend against the wall like this. We have a weighted pressure plate. This can be placed not here, but here to the left, so not in the corner, but just to the left like so. And then I think that that's about as far as we can get, unfortunately. So that's about as far as we can get without these materials. I do have the sea lanterns on me still. If you want, you can place some sea lanterns in the roof, but then it will show from the top, and we can just achieve a really nice lit up effect without it anyway. If you do feel the need to place some sea lanterns in the canopy of this, you can if you like, but later on we will be going to nighttime, and we'll just see how that looks. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've exhausted most of these materials. Now that we have used pretty much every single one of those, we are now going to need all of these materials right here. Now, there will be a couple of repeats, but those are just the breaks. Here are all of the materials that we are going to be using to finish off the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all those materials and enough of them as well. And once you do have them all, we can just finish this thing off. Alright, so it turns out we actually need a lot more stuff than I remembered. Yeah, before I said that here are all the things that we're going to need, I didn't know how much stuff we would need. Alright, so now that we have all this stuff, and of course pause the video if you have to, because it is quite an inventory's worth full of stuff that you need. Once you do have it all, we can get building. So, the first thing that we're going to do here is we are going to build around all of these 3 things that we have built towards the front of the store, and you might be wondering, what are these things? Actually, probably not, because you would have seen them at the start of the video. So, on the left and right hand sides of the loom, we're going to place 2 rows of red terracotta extending from the ground upwards. We're going to place a flower pot on top of the loom, tripwire hook above. We're going to have buttons to the side, and we're going to have item frames to the right side of that with cocoa beans in the item frames. Where we have the light grey concrete, we're going to have a button in front of it, and on the left and right hand sides of it, we're going to have 2 vertical rows of grey concrete. On top of the light grey, we're going to have a black concrete, and above that, a polished andesite stairs. Item frame inside of the black concrete, and then I think that we're pretty good to grab diamonds, bookshelves, torches, paintings, pillar quartz block, quartz stairs, sea lanterns, bread, and oak fence. So the diamonds are pretty much just going to go here. ATM, bin, coffee machine. All the things that you need. I can't think of one more thing other than Minecraft that I need in my life. So now that we've done all of these, we're going to head towards the opposite end of the store. And if you guys have ever been in a petrol station, a garage, whatever you want to call it, you always have like, you're always able to get coffee, you're always able to get money, you're always able to get toenail clippers, but you're also always able to get like sandwiches and stuff like that. So that's what we're going to be making. We're going to make kind of like a little fridge section. In the back corner of the petrol station here, we're going to place a row of pillar quartz block. Going to leave a gap of 2 here, and then we're going to have another row of pillar quartz block like this, extending upwards. We want to have quartz stairs in between them at the bottom. We're going to extend the pillar quartz block forwards. I want to say just by 1 row. Yeah, just by 1 row. We're going to extend it like this. There we are. We're going to place some sea lanterns in the floor. This will actually help in lighting up the garage a little bit. We want to have item frames. So we'll get rid of that. We want to have item frames in the back here, and then whatever you want in the item frames. Like I'm just using bread just as like sandwiches. We need some glass as well, so light blue glass would actually be best, but any glass block would do. I'm thinking that glass pane might also work, so I'm going to seal it up using glass pane, and I'm going to, yeah, a door handle, that works quite well as well. In addition to that, now that we've done that, I kind of want to take care of the stuff just behind the counter here. So actually, I'd prefer that to be on the right side. As most people are right-handed, the door handle would more so typically be on the right side. So we're going to use a quartz stair here, just next to the weighted pressure plate that we have. We're going to grab, what do we need for behind the counter? There's a few things. We'll need the lantern, we'll need the furnace, we'll need the brewing machine, we'll need a flower pot, maybe even a tripwire hook again, glass, yellow carpet, we'll need the That's our item frame. We need the item frame, cooked beef, and many more. Okay, so in this gap here, going to have a furnace. We're going to have above the furnace, we're going to chuck a lantern. To the right here, we're going to have like a brewing stand and a flower pot. You can trip a tripwire hook above both of these. In the corner here, we're going to have a glass, yellow carpet on top, item frame, cooked beef. That's just kind of like, hopefully to represent a little bit of a hot dog situation going on. We need the detector rail because that is basically just going to sit on top of the furnace. It just looks a little bit better in my opinion. We're going to use a little bit of red carpet, just kind of like in front of this counter space here a little bit. Just like that, just makes it look a little bit nicer, I think. We have to add aisles to our petrol station, so that's simply going to be bookshelves, and we're going to use torches because the torches are going to pretty much light up the rest of the place. The bookshelves are meant to be placed pretty much 2 blocks away from everything, if that makes sense. So 2 blocks away from this wall, bookshelf. 2 blocks away simultaneously from the wall and the cash machine. Another row of bookshelves wants to be simultaneously 2 blocks away from the other bookshelf and 2 blocks away from everything else. You want to extend them so that they adhere to this rule, so 2 blocks away from everything else and 2 blocks away from everything else. Basically 1 row away from the carpet and you're pretty much good. The bookshelves want to be 2 rows high. You can make them higher, but then they'll touch the ceiling and that'll look weird. So says me. You might not think it looks weird. And yeah, that's looking pretty good. If you want, you can add another window. Will the window be parallel? We can make the window parallel to the other window, so it would look a bit better if you choose. So it can be parallel to the opposite window, or not. It doesn't really matter. You can then fill it in using some light blue glass paint if you like, or you could just opt for a larger window. Would also be possible to let in a little bit more light. Does that look goofy? I can't remember what I did for the original window. No, that actually looks alright because it adds some variation. Torches are going to be used on the ends of the aisles like this, and that will keep everything quite nice and bright here. Very, very simple, keeping it easy. There's quite oftentimes you'll see, like, again, there's always stuff on the walls of places like this. So if you want, you can use what I would call a collage of paintings. So basically just, no, yes. So basically just, I don't think we got one double there. Basically just, if you want to use like a collage of paintings just to kind of like represent some like, just stuff that might be on offer inside the petrol station or whatever it might be. It just keeps things a little bit more colourful. It looks a little bit nicer. If you want, you can also add some yellow carpet in between the aisles, if you so choose. Maybe between this middle set of aisles, maybe between the end. I don't know whether you'd do it for the other side here too. Maybe you would, maybe you would. I don't know. It's kind of up to you. So maybe here. I always like, I don't know, it's better to have a little bit more colour, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Am I crazy? I'll leave that up to you. That's up to you whether you want to add that. But pretty much the entire inside of this place is done. It's a very, very simple part of the build. We're going to move outside now because, as I mentioned, that's looking pretty decent. I'm quite happy with that. If you wanted to, as I did mention earlier, if you wanted to, you could add, say, like, signs here. So, like, I'm not going to write these all out now, but the idea would be like Petrol, I don't know, you know, one diamond, you know, whatever it might be, 1 diamond a gallon. You don't have to be that crazy because it's like, you know, you could write it like 1.5 a litre, or, you know, whatever the actual price would be, and then you could like have the same for diesel above. If you wanted to just have it be a little bit more, you know, like, might as well write it out now since I did the other one. So like diesel, it's usually a little bit more expensive actually. I don't know, we'll go 2 diamonds, I guess. And it's worse for the environment, I think, so it does deserve to cost a little bit more. If you're harming the planet, you should have to pay for it. So there we go, 2 diamond. What, you know, whatever it will be, it just adds a little bit more interest and intrigue to the build, I think. And ladies and gentlemen, we've pretty much done. The only thing that we have left to do, and I do mean the only thing, is to rip up the entire, I believe that it's called the forecourt, might be wrong about that, all this grassland area here inside and around. I'm going to rip it all up, replace it with grey concrete. In addition to that, I might add a bit of a pathway along this side as well, and I might also add a little bit of green underneath the leaves, but all of that is going to be done off recording. We've got the entire garage done. I'll show you what it looks like when we finished it. Hopefully you'll be as happy as I am once it's all done. Back in a moment. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is what your shell garage should look like once it's been 100% fully completed. Your petrol station, your shell garage, your diesel place, your fuel of choice for your vehicle of choice fueling up place. As you can see, we have completely ripped up all of the floor and replaced it with grey concrete. I've even added a few cars around as well, which you can find tutorials for, by the way. It's a very simple car, can be made in literally a minute, no joke. You can find a tutorial for that in the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section. I'll remember to leave that for you. But that is what the entire outside looks like, and of course, just to work our way to the inside as well, despite the fact that I haven't made any changes on the inside at all, but just to kind of show it all together with everything. I'm very, very happy with this build. I think that this will look great in your city. I just really, really love how this turned out. As promised, this is what the place looks like at night. I don't think it actually requires any additional light. I think that the end rods were a good choice because that just keeps the pumps nice and lit up. And as you can see, the inside the garage is nice and lit up as well. So I don't think that we do need those sea lanterns underneath the canopy. I actually think that it's perfect the way that it is. So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I do hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. If you did, please do remember to hit that like button. It really helps me and the channel out very, very much. If you are new around here, please consider subscribing and clicking the little bell next to the subscription button. That'll ensure that you get all of my videos sent directly to your sub box. If you are building a city, then there are city builds every single week, so you might want to stick around for them. And if you do want to make more builds by me, check out the card system, the description below, and the top of the comment section for more. Not only do I make city builds, but I do also do some other things as well. None of which are in this world, but you'll be able to find them all on the channel anyway. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I love you all very much, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.